remember where you're at and what you're doing this for, group. Because I understand.
Oh no, I'm excited for this.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, remember where you're at.
Trying to figure that out.
So, because here's the whole thing. Here's the whole thing. Do we not let like silly things distract us while we're here?
Sir? No.
No?
Yes.
Well, what are you here for?
I don't know. Find out.
I don't either. But for real, what are you here for? Like, let's be real. Let's talk about what life's been like in the last year.
Shitty.
Shitty. I mean, do you want better?
Of course.
So then do something different
Right.
in order to make it better. Because it does, I see a lot of people trying, and I see a lot of people doing stuff different. And then I see a lot of people that like it's like they're too cool to like be honest and vulnerable and real. And let's be real, life was not good before we got here. If it was good, we wouldn't wind up here. Like my life, listen, anytime I went into treatment, I mean, I was one half a step away from jail or death, and everybody around me was like begging me to go away. To go, you know what I mean? Like, this shit destroys us. It destroys the people around us. It messes everything up. It destroys our brain. It takes everything from us. So, you know, Arthur, why are you here, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm here to learn about my disease, alcohol. You know, learn my triggers and how to deal with life outside when I get out. You know, well, not life outside, but when I leave from here. I'll be knowing some of the warning signs that I didn't know before I came.
See, I like that answer because you're being honest and you're being real and you're confident about it. I'm trying to be better and do better. Because that's what it really all boils down to, right? Like, forget about, what's the matter?
Nothing.
You're grinning in a weird way. Like, real weird. So, no, because, really.
Yeah, when I started looking back at my life, I didn't like it.
Like, speak on it, be
Because
real.
my drinking, caused me to lose a lot of things. I can't afford to be back in that position no more. I don't have no time or no room for it.
And that's what, like, it is okay. Like, it is cool. Or it is not cool to give a shit about your life and about the people around your life and your future. Like, have some self-esteem. Don't come in here pretending everything is all good, because it's not. It's not.
Not mine.
Thank you. Jonathan.
I'm here to learn how to live a better life
Good.
and be happy.
Yeah.
I kind of like Arthur to get better, and I think this time around to find my spirituality, because I was looking in the church and you're just not getting it.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of broken here, and I can't get there because I'm broken here.
What do you mean by find your spirituality?
A high power.
Okay.
A God that I can call on, that I won't feel it's going to let me down.
Okay.
And so again, I was looking for it in the church. I got baptized October 12th, and I was smoking dope October 13th.
Yeah.
And so, and that's real talk. And so I don't have that God that I feel that's hugging me. That said it's okay.
Yeah.
So that's.
Well, here's the whole thing. Who put this up here today?
Cowboy Church.
Cowboy Church. Because what you said is, and I believe, you went to church, you got baptized, right? You have faith. You believe in God. But unless you do the work, you're going to be the same person, do the same things. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're doing everything right, just so you know. You're doing everything right. What?
He's not dead. He's.
No, I mean, like I said, this thing's a process. You'll find your higher power. It's inside you. It's just blocked off right now. You know what I mean? You work the steps, you stay sober long enough, it's gonna grab a hold of you before you know it. I promise you.
I'm here because I fucked up my life.
Okay? You want better?
I want better.
Okay. Tell me.
So, everything that everybody just said
Because it's not, listen, dude, let's be real. It is not cool to be a dope fiend
No,
or an
it's not.
alcoholic. Like, did anybody plan their life out to be that? Like I say all the time, I never, like, the type of lifestyle I lived, I knew jail was coming. Death, maybe. Rehab? Like, rehab where I had to listen to, like, I had to listen to guys that were like Z's age and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. You know what I mean? And like, I wasn't bitter about it. You know why? Because here's the truth. We did not call any single person in here and ask you to come here and fuss and bicker and fight and tell me, no, I'll go to this group, but I'm not going to that group. And this is bullshit and that's not, you know what I mean? Like, you called us and asked us to come here and we said, all right, we'd love to have you. And when you guys sign all that papers in there, that paper says, I'm gonna go to groups, I'm gonna be kind and respectful, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. And like the first thing Mike said when I talked to him, he's like, all right, man, teach us some shit. And I'm like, I'm trying. I'm really trying. Like, I want every single person in here to like be the best person that they can be instead of falling short and, you know, not liking themselves, their family's not really. Come on, man.
And you know what's badass about this group, Mike, is that everybody's here.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, dude. I appreciate that. I love you guys, and I love this place, and I want you guys to do better. I want to like get it before it gets out of control. That like we need to show. Because here's the thing, Jake. If you show up and you go to every single group and you do what you're supposed to do, that little bit of structure, do we not see that as beneficial? Right? Builds a little bit of humility, just doing what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, sitting in your seat. Because here's the thing about step 2. What does step 2 say? Came to believe at a power greater than us could restore us to sanity, which means we're crazy. How do you think you get restored to sanity? One light bulb revelation moment at a time, and you never know when they're gonna come. I've learned just as much from faking ass bullshit people in AA as I did the real deal people. You been to meetings?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? You know how the people in there that are full of shit, they're running around getting high and doing this and doing that, but they get to a meeting and they want to regurgitate some shit that they heard just so they can. Do you understand what I'm saying, Shane? You know what I'm talking about, right? And they'll say some shit. I'm like, holy shit. Like, I've learned just as much from people that are, you know, that I didn't think I was going to learn anything from, that I did. And here's the thing. Shane, what are you doing here?
I'm trying to become a better father. I'm trying to get my life
Yes.
back. You know, and
The baby.
dude, I'm so self-centered that when I came in here, I just wanted my life back. And when you said the other day we were having
Dude,
class,
you're 100% right, because the first time I did this, that's what you said. You're like, I'm here for me. And I'm like, come on, man.
like,
Your family and your son. Like,
dude, what that family meeting, I got to see some pain in my mother's eyes that we've had discussions and shit, but that therapist was able to open her up, and she was able to dude, it was like staring into a pissed off mountain lion when I was sitting across the room. You know what I mean?
and she's
And she's
that
fucking
little old
mad at
woman was
me.
angry?
She was angry. She's very angry. You know, I talked to her on the phone the other day, and she's still fucking angry. You know, and I finally had to tell her, look, Mom, this ain't helping. You know, and that's a boundary that if that's one boundary that I can set with my mother, it's that, because I owe her the love and respect that I've never given her. I mean, I've given it to her.
And let's be real. Like, what does your mom want? Does your mom want you to be sorry for everything?
No,
What does
no.
she wants you to what?
She wants me to fucking stand on my own 2 feet.
God bless you. She wants you to succeed. She wants you to be different. She wants you to not have to worry about shit. Tell me.
Tell you what,
Excuse me. Pardon me. That's why I said this group is a remember where you're at. We're in treatment. We're in a hospital for a disease that's classified as a mental health disease, so that shows you're crazy, right? You're in a hospital. What are you trying to get out of treatment? What are you doing? What's your main goal? Tell me your motivating factor.
Yeah.
The kids, the grandkids,
My main factor right now at this point is where I'm at is to learn as much as I possibly can about the disease that I have. I also went to the family therapy and my wife lit me up and she was mad too, but she wasn't mad at me. She specifically said in her letter that I am freaking mad at this disease. And and I'm trying to learn as much as I can about it and how I can turn my life back around and make it manageable again. That's why I'm here.
Good.
Yeah, I mean,
How,
why?
how long have you been drinking?
My first alcohol incident was probably 11.
Okay.
I mean.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, all my life, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm 55. I mean, if I live to 80, that's only 25 more years. So I want to make it the best 25 years I possibly can.
Oh, no doubt.
I think I have a bright, beautiful future. Let's get to this.
Listen, Shane, what did I tell you in the call? The only way, what did I say? The only way you're not making progress is if you what?
Get high.
Well, if you go backwards, right?
Yeah.
Like, the only way you make progress is like, we're all in here, we're all making progress. We're all making progress.
You know, somebody said something to me one time, and it really stuck with me. On a tombstone, on my tombstone, there will be 11/181, which was the day Hell Hat born. And then there's going to be a dash, and then the date that I go on wherever I go. So, and in the meeting, somebody said, "What do I do with the dash?"
Yes, well, that's, I do a group like this, or sometimes I call it like, what do you want them to say when you pass away? What do you want people, you know what I mean? Like, listen, let's be real, you know what they'd say about you? He had a lot, no, they'll say he had a lot of potential.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they'll say. Man, he was, you know, he was a good kid, but he had a lot of potential. Like, they won't say that. They don't really say mean shit when people die. They try to spice it up and make it as good as possible. But do you want him to say he had a lot of potential, or do you want to say he overcame something? You know what I'm saying? Like, because listen, every single person right now, you're in control of your narrative. You're in control of your narrative. Every single person right here has the, I mean, do you understand how fortunate you are to be in a place like this? How many people are on the streets right now? Drug addiction, alcoholism, no insurance, no, who's been in jail?
Millions.
Who's been in jail? What is jail full of?
Drug addicts.
Alcoholics.
Anybody.
But do you understand what I'm saying? Like, what is it, 85% are people with addiction issues? 85%, maybe 90% addiction issues.
That's right.
They would kill to be in a place like this. You know what they say? I swear it's always some fake gangster, right? They say, man, this place is like jail. I'm like, well, apparently you've never been. Because a bad day in treatment is much better than a good day in jail. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But like, let's be real. We are all given the opportunity to do something. Tell me your name real quick again. I know I met you before.
Colton.
Colton, what are you trying to do in here?
Get my life back on track and keep myself from harming myself mentally, physically,
Self-destructing?
self-destructive, yeah. Just trying to get back to where I was 2 years ago.
So you've had some sober time?
Yes, I have.
Tell me about that, if you don't mind.
It was great, you know. I had it all, you know, I had a big truck and the apartment and a girlfriend, and I lost it all pretty quick because of, you know, pills.
You're an opiate guy?
No,
Oh.
benzo.
Oh, benzos. Okay.
Alcohol didn't help either.
No, it doesn't.
And I just, it's nice to say that, you know, I'm going to be here for myself, but my friends and my family, you know, weren't benefiting too much from me doing those things either.
Listen, I tell people all the time, you don't have to tell me you're here for yourself. You don't have to give me the company line, because I'll be honest with you, I never went into treatment for myself. That makes no sense to me. When I'm living for myself, I'm not in treatment or AA. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm in here because I know I don't want my kids to have to go to my funeral.
Yeah.
Or because my sister and my ex-wife and my mother are begging me because I'm overdosing like crazy. Like, but somewhere between like 4, 5, or 6, you know, one of these light bulb moments, because I had a lot of them. I said, the better I take care of myself, the better I am for them. Because I'll tell you this, I want to be the best human being that I can be, so my family and kids and friends and you guys and people can count on me. What I wanted to say on my dash is someone to be counted on. He gave more than he took. You know what I'm saying? He really, like, I go out of my way to try to lift people up and to encourage them and to love them and to inspire them, because I know that life is all about you doing as good as you can so that you could be as good as you can for everybody around. If that's what we're all doing, isn't the world a better place? Because listen, as a drug addict or an alcoholic, you're sucking the life out of your people around you. I don't care if you're not, sucking the life out of, you're sucking the energy out of the room. As somebody in recovery, if somebody, I mean, look at Jarvis. Jarvis is not in recovery. But Jarvis was all about service work. Don't ask this guy for a favor. He works 2 jobs and will stay late to run around and do something for anybody in here. Anybody in here thinks I'm making that up. You know, just ask anybody he's went out of their way for. You know what I mean? Like, he is all about the service work. He's all about giving. Listen, I reached every financial goal and everything I've ever wanted to do, I reached by the time I was 25, right? I felt empty, alone, disconnected, like anxious, angry, nervous, depressed, all that other stuff. I am much happier now in the last 4.5 years of my life when I turned my life over and decided to give as much as I could. That's what the spiritual life is about. The more you give, the more you receive. Young lady,
Yes,
what are you doing here?
I'm here because I want to get my life together for myself and my family, and I'm tired of embarrassing my family with the shenanigans I've been doing in my life, drinking and drugging.
Because like I just said before, I promise you, we're like an anchor around the people we love's neck. They're just dragging us around. And why do you think they're...
Can I say something?
Please.
Hey guys, he said that I'm not in recovery, but I'm actually in recovery.
I'm sorry, I didn't
I just didn't go to rehab. I started working here, and it saved my life. But trust me, I was a shit-faced drunk, and my mom didn't like it. My sisters didn't like it. My whole family that I grew up with didn't like it. They didn't like me when I was drunk. Because me that you see in her, this is me literally without drinking. Seriously, I'm like this 24/7, full energy, always moving fast, and always help anyone. And my family knows it. I mean, I got her chewing out this morning by one of my aunts because she said, "You're always doing something for your family, but family ain't always doing for you." And I told her, "I don't worry about that." I said, "I'll leave that up to him." That's who my faith is in. It's in God. I am a God-fearing man, and there's no one on earth can change that for me. But I am in recovery, so I enjoy coming here. I can say this for a job. This is at number 1. The other job that I had that I used to love and enjoy was when I was a correction officer until dealing with other people's kids and knowing that it could affect my life if I did something wrong. I didn't like that. Dealing with juveniles is tough, real tough. And you had to have the mindset for it too. Anybody just couldn't do it. You think you can, especially if I got a family that don't mean nothing. They don't care. They chew you out and spit you up. I mean, they chew you and spit you out. Chew you up and spit you out. But I've had my skeletons that caused me to drink. And when I say drink, guys, when I first started here, I used to leave here and couldn't wait to get home. Now, I leave here now and go to another job. And when I leave that job, I can't wait to get home so I can take a shower and get in my bed and start it all over again. But I owe a whole lot to each and every last one of you that comes through these doors. Because you've taught me more than what I can teach you. Trust me, you have. And I get the pleasure of seeing someone come in here that is broken, that is messed up, and when you leave, like I told this young man when he first got in there, he was really pretty shitty in shape. And as I look at him now, I'm being straight honest. As I look at him now, I can tell the difference. And I get a pleasure out of that. I mean, I get to say that hopefully I have a part of it, but I don't get to have a part of it like I used to when I worked the floor, which me and this guy was a real good team. And usually I'd be in here right now if I was working the floor. This is the shift that I worked 311 and I love it. It was when I first started, it was just that building and this building, the office was in there. Intake, you did it in there and in the nurse station. It wasn't that building in that lady's house. Whatever female we had, they stayed in this house. It usually was upstairs and downstairs. Unless we needed for detox downstairs. But I've seen everything here. I've had coaches, athletes, lawyers, doctors, everyday people like me come through these doors that were broken. And I keep 2 in my mind that I love to hear about every now and then. And they post something on Facebook and that's letting me know that they're still working their program. I had one, she fell off and she got back on the program. And she really is the one that opened my eyes up to let me know that I was right there not far from the position she was in when she came in. So, all of you, I always will tell you, keep your heads up. There's no shame in what you're doing. How's there shame in what you're doing when you're trying to get you back on track? There's no shame in that. Shame is if you're one of those that's out there that refuse to come in here. And it ain't just gotta be here, it can be anywhere. There's plenty of these places across the United States. So all of you, keep your head up. And if I walk by and ask you how you doing, be honest with me. If you're not feeling good, let me know. You don't know, I might back door and try to see if I can go do something to change that. I don't tell you, but I will, I know how to voice it because it's part of my job. My job is safety and your safety here, your well-being here. So even if you put something in my box, feel free to ask me if I seen it or did I take care of it. And I might didn't check my box, but if you tell me, sometimes I usually go do it right then and there. Or sometimes I have to wait till I have a meeting to have that discussion with a group of people. But I am here for each and every last one of you in this room. I'm not here for none of the staff. Trust me, I'm not. But I also want to make sure that they're being treated right too. So if any one of you mistreated staff and I see it, that's not pretty. Because how would you like for someone to come to your job and do you like that?
Yeah.
And people don't think like that, especially when you're in recovery.
That's right.
You're hurting, and when you're hurting, I can understand. I'll pick the right time to come and talk to you and voice that. Hey, you might need to go tell that person you're sorry, apologize, and be sincere about it. As a staff, we all are here to help you. If the staff is not helping you, voice it. Include me. I don't have a problem with you voicing. I don't have a problem with you calling me out. I don't. I have several clients in the past that have called me out. And I owned up to it. I know how to own up to it. That's what made me a better person. When I make a mistake, I gotta own up to it. But if I didn't, you get that voice from me too. But once again, all of you, keep your head up.
Thank you, Jordan.
All of you really good people, man. All of you some awesome people. Don't ever let no one tell you that you're not. I get up in the mirror every morning, I'm looking rough, I tell myself, man, you're a nice looking guy. and I don't feel like it. So I feel it.
You too.
Thanks, Jarvis. So I like what he said, right? Like, here's the thing. Did anybody in here ask or plan out to be a drug addict or an alcoholic? No, we're afflicted with that, right? We are afflicted with that. That is something that we were afflicted with. And we're not responsible, so we're not responsible for the disease. But what are we responsible for?
Our actions.
Well,
reaction.
Okay, yeah, because I don't care, like, you know, whatever you do, that was you that did it. Yeah, you have a disease, yeah, whatever, but you're responsible for your recovery. You're responsible for your recovery. There is nothing that we can do. Because sometimes I'll hear people that complain about the counselors, they'll complain about this, and I'm like, yo, listen, it wouldn't matter if we had 10 Dr. Phils here. You know what I mean? It wouldn't matter. You have to do the work. You have to do, listen, who in here has a decent relationship with Jarvis? You see, like, when they say find somebody that you want what they have, do you see the way he walks around smiling?
Oh, dude, that's his goal, man.
He is one of the, listen, I used to bring his daughter up to me, he's got a little daughter. I used to bring his daughter up just so I could watch him smile when he would talk about her. Because I used to love that shit. Like, I have 2 girls of my own, and it's like, they're so precious to me, and it's like, he's telling me, she'd be 4 or 5 years old at the time, he'd be telling me this and telling me that, and it's like, I love to see him get happy. Like, he's free, he's happy, he's humble, he's a nice guy.
A hard-working motherfucker, man.
What?
A hard-working motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. But I'm not exaggerating. We worked the 3 to 11 shift together, and I'd be in here doing the group, and you'd see him run by. And then you'd see him run by again, and there was no need to run. There was no alarm going off. We didn't even have the iPad at the time. You know what I mean? Like, he just ran for no reason. He was like Forrest Gump. Just run for no reason. I'm not kidding. But like I said, like, I love it. And me and him are really the same way, man. We want people to have a good time here. And I want you to laugh and joke and do this. But do not get it twisted. Like, this is life or death shit. This is life or death shit.
What do you say? Don't sleep on it, or it'll Bill Cosby.
Yes. The minute you sleep on this thing, and it will, it really, really, like, to be complacent or to not take this as serious, it's at your own peril. Like I tell people all the time, who in here has a wife, a girlfriend, a husband, or whatever, a significant other, and or kids or grandkids on the outside? Like grandkids, right? Could you imagine, like, if they were standing next to you the whole time, and they're just going, man, you know, I'll try your hardest. You know what I mean? Like, that's how we have to do, because those are the ones that matter. Those are the ones that we got to answer to. Shane, those are going to be the ones that are at our funeral. That's what it is. Like, you know, I like what Jarvis said about, you know, if he's wrong, he'll admit it, or he'll do this. Like, that takes humility. You need to be humble in this. We need to be humble enough to be like, man, I'm messing things up. Like, you cannot save your ass and your face at the same time. You can't. So we're either in here trying to save our lives and we're willing to do whatever, or we're pretending it's not that bad and we just hit the pause button and we're wasting a terrific opportunity.
You know,
Adrian, yeah.
There was somebody in the family therapy, and she told her son, she said, and I really like this. She told her son, she said, now's the time to be weak and ugly.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Let's. I want to explain to you how ass backwards and like how self-destructive we are. If you go into a meeting or in a place like this, or a therapy or a counseling, and you really put yourself out there like that, right? Like you really, when you said weak or ugly, right? Is that more of a strength or is that a weakness?
Because being strong, but
yeah, because I don't know about you, but
I'm guilty of this, Mike, too. I'll put up a facade here and I'll talk shit out of the business.
yes.
But I won't get down to the causes and conditions of my disease.
Yeah. Well,
and then when I have somebody like you call me out in front of God and everybody, and if I have enough humility, I'm like, damn, dude, like maybe I am just talking shit. You know what I mean?
Well,
and then the next week, it allowed me to get really ugly in a process group.
Well, let me ask you something. Why are we so worried about exposing ourselves?
Because we don't want to be found out.
We don't want to be seen for who we actually are.
Because why?
We're afraid.
Because we're scared.
Pussy.
Well, it's not even that. Well, here's the thing. We're so afraid. We're so afraid to put ourselves out there because if people see the real us and then they reject us, then what do we have?
We got no excuse for why we failed, why we didn't get approval.
Well, I'm just saying, like, we're constantly trying to protect ourselves because we're afraid to be hurt. We're afraid to be not accepted. We're afraid to look bad. We're afraid to be embarrassed. We're afraid of this, afraid of that. But you guys have seen it in here when one of you says something that everybody kind of thought or felt the same way but never really said. When they say that, we're like actually attracted to that. We're like, yo, that was some real shit.
And then it gives the next man permission to open up and
Yeah.
do the same thing.
Yeah, because like when we're all pretending it wasn't that bad, we're all pretending that like we were out there. Yeah, I was actually, things weren't actually that bad. I'm in here because I was singing too loud in church or, whatever the case is. Like, no, let's be real. Like, let's remember those 2 days or 2 weeks or 2 months before we got in here when we couldn't even look at ourselves in the mirror. Nobody wanted nothing to do with ourselves. We're broke. We're broken, we're miserable, our hair ain't cut, our clothes ain't, I mean, we're like, this is like,
Broke,
we're
busted,
barely,
and disgusted.
yeah, broke, busted, and disgusted. We're barely surviving. So we come into a place like this, I'm telling you, I see it every day. They walk through the door, they're humble. Man, Mike, I'll do anything. 10 days later, they're like, fuck this. You know what I'm saying? 10 days.
I'll overreact.
Yeah. And it's like, Patrick's an idiot, or Mike's an asshole, or this, that, like all of a sudden, you know what's good for you again. And we're operating on pure ego, because when it really comes down to the self-esteem thing, that shit's way down low and kicked in the you know what I'm saying? Like, this self-esteem thing didn't happen overnight, so it ain't gonna come back overnight. What was I saying the other day about the guilt and the shame and all that stuff? Why do we feel so guilty, Shane?
You tell me.
Because we are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why. That's why we feel so guilty. That's why we come in here and we're hating ourselves and what it is. Because we've been doing shit that like really doesn't sit right with us.
Yeah.
We've been justifying it, rationalizing it, and doing it. And then we come in here and we get a little sober and like, holy shit. I mean, who in here has kids? Come on. You know what I'm saying? Have we been being the best parents we could be? No.
No,
No,
really.
no. They deserve better.
What they do?
I don't know about your kids, but my kids deserve the best Mike they could be. Not the, and listen, it's crazy because even when I went into treatment, I thought I was a dad that was hitting the 80%, 90% number. And now I look back on it and I'm like, holy shit. You know what I mean? And that's the thing too. I knew how to be physically present for a lot of things, but emotionally or mentally, oh man. You guys, I mean, you owe it to yourself to be the absolute best that you could be. You know, does anybody want to say anything? Anybody want to share? Please, Patrick.
Listening to you talk right there, and I was adding up my years. You know, I started doing dope at 23. I'm 58. I've only had 18 months one time in that, you know, in that time span, and never any clean time over a week.
Pat, were you working a program when you were 18 months?
Yeah. I was on the extended aftercare.
But did you work the step?
Yes.
Okay. I never, I meant to ask that the other day.
Yes.
So the only thing, well, no, but let's, the only thing that even got you that 18 months was some structure.
Yes.
Listen, guys, we need structure. We thrive in structure and rules and boundaries. Without that, when it says self-will run riot, I really like to say that because sometimes people don't understand that. Maybe you'll understand this one. We're institutionalized.
Dude, that's what I was gonna say. The last time
Yes.
I do my best when I'm in jail.
Of course, or in treatment, right?
Yeah.
Or in treatment. You know what I mean? Because why? You
Because
kind of
we're-
got to do what we tell you. For the most part, I mean, you don't really have to, but at the same time, you know.
Like I spent a month and a half in jail and ended up with a year sobriety.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I started taking my will back and it was like,
Yeah.
I'm out of here. Later, bye.
And that's a part of the disease. Like that's why I say all the time, like, guys, I don't know about you, me. I always had this hole in my heart. I was always missing something. I was always looking for something to make me feel better, right? Maybe that's not you. I know that was me. So when because if I had a drug problem, right? If I had a drug problem, the 994 times I put down drugs, I'd be fine, right? So what does that say? Man, way before the drug, you know what I mean? Drugs ain't the problem.
Yeah, and that's for me. That's exactly how I am. Whenever I'm out there, it's like I never feel right, and I want to get right. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I always go back to that. So for me, being here this time more than ever, like maybe it sounds cliche or whatever, but I'm here. I'm trying to find myself because I'm fucking lost. And like every time I come back in here, it's like more and more of me is missing. And I don't even know who the fuck I am anymore. And I was just, it's funny we were talking about this because I was highlighting this. It's in there as a solution whenever Dr. Young is talking to the guy and he says that, you know, he's a hopeless condition. And the guy goes, is there no exception? And that's me. I'm like, is there any fucking way, you know? He's like, yes, there is exceptions. Cases such as yours have been occurring since early times. Here and there, once in a while, alcoholics have had what we call vital spiritual experiences, and that's what I'm trying to have. I need to get in touch with my higher power, or myself, or whatever, the collective unconscious, whatever it is. I don't have a name for it, but I gotta get in touch with that, because without that, I'm Michael's fucked.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. Well, and here's the thing. When was the longest, from leaving here, when was the longest you were 100% clean and working a program? Because I don't want to hear about Suboxone either.
Maybe 5 months.
Really?
Yeah.
5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Going to meetings, working a program.
Yeah, I was sober.
How'd you feel?
I felt good. I mean, I felt good.
Okay. And here's the thing. Obviously, you know.
I say I felt good. I felt better than I had in a long time. I know that, like, obviously there wasn't something wrong. I mean, I ended up having a psychotic breakdown, and you know that led me down back a whole another path. But it was funny because whenever I had that episode, like, the thing that I saw was the two things that are the most important to me in my life. That's my girl and my son. That's what my mind was projecting. I'm sitting there having conversations with them. And you know it fucked me up. Ended back in the hospital. And then I started drinking again after that. But you know, it's like that's what I'm doing it for. But at the same time, I have to do it for me because now it's just like I have to do it for me.
Well, I mean, the one thing I try to let everybody know, like, this is how we'll do a step one, right? if we're drinking or getting high, are we not miserable? Right? Because if we were good, would we be here? And then when we stop drinking, we know we're miserable too. We know we're miserable when we stop drinking. Why do we start drinking again? Because we think we're going to feel better. But then when we drink again, we feel what? Worse. Is that not a fucked up conundrum? Sounds like you're just destined to be miserable forever. Oh, leave here, stay sober and work the steps, and you can feel better and do better and be better than you ever have been in your life. Sounds like to me it should be light work. You know what I mean? Okay, I'll do whatever. I mean, listen, how miserable were you? I know how miserable I was. I know how miserable I was. I told you, if I talked to myself, which I did on a regular basis, all I did was call myself a piece of shit. You're no good. What's wrong with you? I mean, I couldn't even look at my kid's eyes or whoever and not hate myself even 10 times worse.
Yeah,
than
that's how I was. I couldn't even look at my parents in the eyes.
What did I say before? Why do we feel so guilty?
Because we are.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that conflict that goes on inside there. But here we are running around doing this shit because we think it's what? Going to make ourselves feel better?
Yeah.
But does it?
No.
Does it ever?
Hell no. I mean,
and let's be real.
For 10
seconds, maybe? If that?
10 minutes down to maybe a minute.
That's what I'm saying. And then here we are all over again. Here's the crazy part. This is the one thing I want to tell you guys. When you leave here, you get clean, you get sober, it's going to be miserable in the beginning. But there's one thing I can fucking guarantee. You will never, if you stay sober for that 24 hours, you never wake up the next day and go, man, I wish I was smoked crack last night. You know what I'm saying? But when you smoke crack, what do you wake up and say? Why didn't I stay sober?
Yeah.
I had 5 months, 5 weeks, 5 days, whatever time we had. We just gave it all back and started
And I want to take you back, like I say, I was feeling good. I was really, you know, now that I think about it more and more, I wasn't feeling all that great. The only thing that made it seem a little better is that I had the structure and I had some sort of a framework. And some framework is better than no framework. I was getting up, going to a job, coming back. You know, I went to meetings, you know, once a day and all this and that. But the thing that was missing and the thing that I'm really trying to find this time, and it's always eluded me, is how to find, get in touch with a higher power. Because without that, even, you know, like I thought that I could find that through my fiance, I thought I could find it through my son. And, you know, and then I feel like a piece of shit because I'm like, why do I still feel like shit? Why do I still want to get fucked up? Why do I feel not right? You know what I mean? And so, like, that's my main goal. You were asking, like, why are you here? Is to get in touch with a higher power, and I don't know how to even fucking begin to do that.
I do. Listen, everything that every human being should ever know is in that book. I promise you. Listen, go to any church service. I don't care what denomination it is. I don't care what religion it is. They all kind of preach the same type of thing all about way. Life is not about you. It's about we, us, them, they. It's about God. God, you know what I'm saying? It ain't about me. My higher power can't be the Kardashians or fucking Betty or do you understand what I'm saying? Can't be likes on Instagram or all this other bullshit. That's not what's important. You're important. You're important. Relationships, human beings, love is important. When I'm able to be your crutch, when you're falling down, when I'm able to be your crutch and help you through something, not only do I help you through it, but I feel better about myself, don't I? I never have to feel guilty about help. Do you understand what I'm saying? Felt guilty every time I got high. Every time I got high, even when nobody knew. I didn't like it. It didn't sit right with me. I knew this is not what I was, like, you know what I mean? Like, I always knew or felt like a tiny bit me, always felt like I was better than that. Do you understand? Yeah.
One thing that I've been thinking about the past couple of days with a lot of guilt, like my parents, they didn't want me having money. But my 21-year-old ass, you're not touching my money, fuck you. But every time I owed the plug or one of my friends' money, I owed them back. I always gave them the money back. But I would never give my parents the bills that they paid for.
Well, you're not afraid of what your parents are going to say behind your back on the streets.
Or kill you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, that's what it is. We got to keep our name right. You know what I'm saying? We're not worried about what they say. You know, plus they're kind of a soft target. You know, but when you'll get to the point where, I mean, what's integrity?
Doing the right thing when no one's looking.
Yeah. I mean, because here's the thing. This shit's all about self. It's fucked up. I'm sitting here telling you can't be about self, right? It's all about self, how we feel about ourselves. Like that whole, you know, all right, step one. here's the thing, I'm gonna run all through the steps for you real quick, right? Mike's in treatment, Mike says, all right, I've been powerless over alcohol, I've become unmanageable. Shit, unmanageability all over the place. Powerless, okay, I am not gonna put anything in my body forever and ever and ever. I'll say that shit, but whatever. Came to believe that a power greater on something, well, I don't know what the fuck that means. I really don't know what that means. Made a decision, turned my will and all my lives over to care of God as I understood them. Well, I don't really know what that means kind of either, but like I know when I'm running the show, shit's fucked up, so I'm gonna start taking advice from my counselors and my sponsors and like my sister and dad and the people that like really want the best for me and don't want anything from me. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they're like, Mike, it's funny because they were all saying the same shit. Mike, you can't go back to New York, you gotta stay in treatment, stay going to your meetings, stay doing that. All right, so I'll do that. Step 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of myself. Well, I don't know what that is, but the book explains what I'm going to do. So I wrote it all down. Anybody in here believe that human beings are built to be shitty people and keep secrets? No. Ever watched the show The First 48? Mm-hmm. How many of these gangsters telling themselves right away? Is it because they're stupid? Some. Why? No, but for real, why do they?
Because they have a conscience.
Because they can't. I mean, that shit's like. They can't keep it inside. We're not built for that shit.
And even if they don't tell on themselves, they tell on themselves.
Yeah. Well, and it says it says admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. See, 4, we write down our wrongs, and now we admit the exact nature of our wrongs. What does that mean? The shit that motivated. Oh, it's my low self-esteem and my fear and my sex and my this and that. You know what I mean? So now I'm really exposing myself. Well, this is who I am as a human being. I just put it all down there. And it's, oh shit, I don't want to be that. Anybody okay with being that? Selfish, self-centered, egotistical, living out of fear, low self-esteem. I mean, it's just, okay, I said it, I did it, I told everybody all my dirty secrets and put it all out there. Now I'm going to move forward. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character.
Maybe not all. Maybe a few.
Well, here's the thing. You're ready to have him remove them all. Do you think he removes them all?
No. Yeah.
No.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, I'm ready. Listen, here's the thing. I'm ready to have him remove them. So what am I going to do? I'm going to talk about my anger and the fact that I like to steal sometimes because I like to get over. You know what I mean? I like to lie. I like to get over. I like to make things easy for myself. Whatever. But I'm ready to have him removed. So what do? I humbly ask him to worship. God, please take my anger away from me. I get on my hands and knees and I pray about this. And I do this type of stuff because it says that we lack discipline and we let God discipline us. Where is God?
Inside.
Inside. It's your dude. This whole thing is your conscience. God's your conscience. Yeah, that's why you do. Yeah, if it matters to you, made a list of all persons we've been harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Anybody in here know anything about doing the steps? Guess what your step 4 and your step 8's gonna look like?
Hard.
The same shit. Everybody you've had a resentment, your parents are gonna be all over there. You don't think they're gonna be at step 9, 8, 9? You know what I mean? So every person you have at step 4, they're the person you gotta apologize to. Well, make amends to, or whatever. You put that out there. What do you think happens when you start making amends? And here's the whole thing. Don't start making amends the day you walk out of here.
The weight you're carrying goes.
It does. It does. A lot of times people just say stuff like, man, it's cool. Just keep doing what you're doing. What do you think that does? If you're really taking this seriously, if you're on your hands and knees doing that 3rd step prayer and that 7th step prayer, you know what I mean? So when you say you go to your parents 6 months from now, you go to your parents, you're making amends, and they say, hey, listen, we like what we see, but we're still not, do you understand what I'm saying? They're not 100% sold, but they like what they see. But you can see that, it's working a little bit. You got some accountability right there, right? Because you don't want to go back on that. You make amends to people. You say stuff like, listen, I know I've harmed you. What can I do to make it better? And they say stuff like, Mom, just keep doing good. You're doing great. Mom, keep doing good. Holy shit. You know what I mean? Now we don't want to go. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The shitty way that you've been living you can no longer manage it. I say this all the time. What's the to Mike, this is just Mike's opinion, what's the most important word in step 1? Come on, Nathan.
Commitment.
Unmanageable.
Nathan, we talked about this.
Had.
Had is the most important person, to me. Like I said, this is not an AA proof, this is just Mike. Why do I think that's the most important part? Because once it had become unmanageable, we can't go back anymore. That's it. Once it had become unmanageable, now we gotta figure out something different. Do you understand what I'm saying? Continue to take personal inventory. That means my character defects is still gonna come out, right? Do you think I just, started walking on water after I did the steps? No, I'm still the same person. I still get angry, frustrated. I still steal sometimes from Walmart. Don't tell Walmart.
I'm gonna call him right after this meeting.
What you said?
I'm gonna call him right after this meeting.
Jackie always makes fun of me. Like, it's just a water. Who cares? You know what I mean? But then I'm like, what if I get caught? Whatever.
Well, they ain't gonna come after you anyway, so I mean, do what you gotta do.
I would have just played dumb.
Yeah.
Sought to prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God. How do we improve our conscious contact with God?
Prayer.
Praying and letting, because if you start listening to your conscience, do you think it starts to get a little bit louder and louder? Because think about all the stuff that we were kind of doing. So we stopped doing that major stuff, and now we might start doing little stuff, and now the little stuff is, do you see what I'm saying? How we progress to being the better people?
And it's like this guy, people may have heard of Nietzsche, he said people ignore their conscience because when it speaks demandingly.
Yeah.
But we've made a practice out of like just ignoring that voice for so long that it's there, but
Well, I think that voice is the reason why we wind up in a place like this. That little voice that's going, come on, you know you're better than this. Because if that voice didn't exist, even if everybody around you is begging you to go, you'd be like, they're fucking crazy, I'm fine. You understand what I'm saying? But we know that, but we know we're not fine. We know we need to do better. We know that there's a better way. Guys, I just want you to understand, like, this is serious life stuff. You're in a good place. Let's not pretend that life was good on the outside, and in order to get somewhere you've never been, you gotta be willing to do stuff you never did. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. Anybody in here that thinks they're just gonna decide to be better, if we could do that, Frederick, would we be here? No, we did that 950 times ago. Seriously, guys, hey, Kay, thank you for everything. Dinner was delicious.
Thank you.
I really want to say, Kay, Pam, even Jennifer, in the kitchen, listen, Jarvis, me, Z, Marion, Jody, do you guys understand how much we care?
Sir.
Anybody been to other treatment centers? Do they care as much?
No.
What?
Fuck no.
Well, that's what, serious.
They want that cash.
And listen, this is stuff I'm not supposed to say out loud. I don't give a shit if Great Oaks makes money. I want it to make enough money to stay open. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I don't care if this place turns a profit. I don't care about none of that stuff. I just care about you guys getting better. I want to see better, do better. I want you to be the gift that I am to my family instead of the anchor I want. Do you understand what I'm saying? No, man, every single person in here is better than that. You're all worth more than that. Yes, Frederick?
If you sold me a dream, I'll buy it.
If I sell in a dream, you'll buy it?
Yes, sir.
This is the whole thing. I used to sell dope. Now I try to give away hope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? None of it's for sale. None of it's for sale. I'm trying to give it to you.
I got a shirt from a recovery place in Florida that has Hope Dealer.
Hope Dealer?
Yeah.
I want to get a shirt that says exactly what you just said.
I have one that says Hustle Hope. Yeah.
You used to sell dope, now give away hope.
Yeah. And why do you think I'm so passionate about this? Why do you think I'm so...
It feel good, it's honest, it's pure.
Because I was sitting in your seat.
It's straight drop.
Yeah.
Coming from your heart. But, and in your mind. You feel
But
me?
I was sitting in your seat
Yeah.
thinking listen, I remember telling the nurse at the last place I was at, I'm going to die like this. I am not, like I said, I'm not going to make it. I wasn't saying it for attention. Do you understand what I'm saying? I am not going to make it. And she laughed, yeah, you know you're gonna be fine. I'm like, no, you don't understand. No matter how hard I try, I wind up in a place like this. Like, I don't want to live this way. I don't know how to live any other way. And I am not living, I am killing myself. And all I did was what they told me to do. Like, that's it. I got out of my own way. I stopped making the decisions. And I'll be honest, I had to do it in Texas because New York was too toxic for me. No doubt about it. You know what I mean? Like, for real. Like, I would have never made it in New York. Somehow, by the grace of God and all that other shit, I wound up out here. And I am eternally grateful for it. And that's why I said, like, if I thought that I was special, then I wouldn't be up here. It has nothing to do with me. This is God's shit. Every single person in here is being shown the way right now. It's up to you if you're going to stay on the path. It's up to you. We're going to show you the door. We're going to lead the horse to water. We're going to do all that stuff for you. It's up to you. All right, so guys, go. I guess it's free time, so do whatever you're going to do. Don't do anything you're not supposed to do. Do your chores. Thank you, thank you, thank you.